Okay, it's Friday, March 31st. This is an end of the day, an end of the week, an end of the month, an end of the quarter SPY recap here. A lot of things to go over, but for today, first of all, you could see it was another two-up continuation day. It stayed above the midpoint of the prior day. You can see here just structure on the 15-minute chart. Once you had the strong open, it was a bias to the upside all day. I shot a midday video how here was your target at the yellow line. You'd probably get a pause there. We paused, and it was a typical directional day that I often talk about. One push up, pause, two pushes up. And obviously a strong day and something that really wasn't all that surprising given the fact that we've been talking about, and I'll go over in a second how it was just earlier in this week when everything changed in terms of what we were looking at and expecting. And now that we if we go over that, we can kind of see how that translates into what might develop going forward. So first of all, if we talk about the daily chart here, I was talking about how this was a consolidation pattern in here. And the big tip-off that we might be heading higher was, and in a second I'll go over on Tuesday here, I was actually very bearish. I thought this might be the start of that monthly move back to the downside. In a second here, if I spread the chart out, all this price action is the month of March. And you can see here this yellow line represents the opening price. And we were kind of biased a little bit to the downside all month. At the very beginning, we just started up, but then ever since then we came down, we stayed below that line. Then there was a big period in here. We were kind of hovering on that line, and I was going over on this monthly chart how at the time it was red, it was a little green, it was red. We had a 2-down month where we were going to hit these targets. Then as time kept going on and we weren't reaching these targets, and we were coming towards the end of the month, a big development happened here where this was with about a week to go in the month, we had this 2-down day right in here on Tuesday, kind of a turnaround Tuesday that I expected to really follow through and hit this target, turn the monthly chart back to red, start hitting our targets down here. But what happened? It failed to reach its target, had a little hammer bar, and I said, if we can continue up, that might be the sign that this whole monthly chart's a failure. We're heading back up. We're going to close strong. And especially because we were consolidating in this little area and we failed on the up. That's why I was so excited to go short to the downside, because we didn't reach this target on this 2 up. But then when we came 2 down, you expected to really reach this target, and it couldn't do that. And then it starts up again. So at that point, I sensed a powerful breakout here that would really develop, which it did. And then I talked about how the weekly chart at that point was green and now heading higher, and we were broadening out above this bar. So that was our target. You could see we hit it here at the yellow line. We've been talking about that ever since Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And we talked about how this monthly chart now looks like it's going to end up failing on the downside, end up with a green hammer bar or even a reversal looking bar, which should now start higher into April, project up to here. And then once we get up to there, kind of the 420 area, let's say, there's no reason we can't, if we want to break through, go up all the way here to the 430-ish area. And we'll kind of talk about that into next week. And that's generally, what's going on. There was a big shift here on this day, on Tuesday, when it couldn't head down, and the breakout happened on Wednesday. And then ever since, we've gone straight up, hit our targets. So what it is now we've hit some exhaustion in the short run, obviously. I mean, if you look at the daily chart, it's 2 up, 2 up, 2 up, 2 up. So at any moment, it's not really actionable signals to continue higher. We did broaden out above this bar. So anything's possible in terms of maybe we just, lower low, higher high, and we start all the way down to a lower low. But we're going to watch how the new month opens up. I'll take this yellow line and whatever the opening price is, I'll bring that up there. We'll kind of judge just like we did on this month, where that open is, and are we above or below it, and then we can kind of go from there. But at this point, in order to get some kind of failure, we're going to have to, let's say we start the month down, April on Monday, we start down red. So fine, we're starting red, we'll continue to maybe go short. There should be a little bit of a pullback. I can look here on the chart, there's a lot of gaps to fill on the downside. We want to almost see that, to be honest with you, before we head up to the upside. So those will be better signals that we kind of come down, fill in these gaps, and then start up, instead of trying to chase it at this point. But, the thing is, we could be, let's say we're going to start down and come all the way down here, which I don't anticipate given the monthly chart. We should probably hold the midpoint of this month and then start any pullback and then start higher. But let's say we come down. Well, we're going to watch the weekly chart open up, see if it stays red. And as long as, until we get a weekly, if let's say we get a big red week next week, then we'll just watch to see when that week reverses before getting long. If we start straight up, I just know we're at exhaustion risk, and I'm anticipating higher up to 410 and 420 and 430 way up here. But, it's not going to make a straight line up there. So we'll just have to go day by day with that. And we're going to have to, any kind of reversal, is going to have to really take place on the weekly chart. For this broadening action on the upside to fail, we're going to have to see a failure on the weekly chart. So for now, that would be it would be either an up week that starts here strong and comes to the midpoint of that bar, really fails. Then we can maybe look at a failure, or we start down right out of the gate. So we get a 2 down, which I'm not anticipating. So those type of things, So until then, we're going to kind of project to the upside. This monthly chart now has a nice reversal look. If we get up there, that's the other thing. We're going to expect to get to that target. Just like when we had a 2 down, we expected to get to these targets. If as the month goes by and we fail to get up there, then all of a sudden we might be in this big trading range and just reversing to the downside, throughout the next few months. So those are the types of things to look for. But for now, our expectations are continuation higher, take out this target. Once we do that, we'll see how price reacts to it. If we're going to be heading up to all these other targets up here, and really, again, turning around this big bear market, you never know. As of now, that's the way we're playing it, and we're just going to have to see if we reach targets, and we're going to have to see if the weekly charts confirm on the upside, and go from there. So anyway, today, like I said, it was just a classic day of direction. Being long here, many stocks gave you an opportunity to get long out of the gates. If you didn't get that, there were secondary trades to get the push up to their intraday highs and a little bit beyond, and that's how the month and quarter and week and everything ended up. So we will start in April, go from there. A little exhaustion risk. I'd prefer a little pullback. Might even go short a little bit if we have some red to start the week just into this gap. But then I'll be real excited as short trades fail to really turn the weekly chart lower to get back long. I'm really excited to get back to the long side in any way I can with good actionable signals. So we'll just wait patiently for those to develop and go day by day until they develop.